Last week we were talking about there's going to come a time when we're all going to face judgment, and we're going to lead into the fear of God. And I want to make sure everybody realizes the fear I'm talking about. I think I read what Father Noah Webster had said. It's a holy awe or reverence of God. When they talk about there's a different fear that when we become Christians that we're not supposed to have. There's not supposed to be the dread or fear of, I have an example, but I'm not going to use it because, certain things happen, not in our country, but there's a chance it could happen. And I know sometimes we might start getting this fear on us that, oh, what if that happens here? And anyway, that's not the fear that we're talking about when we're talking about reverence to God. But I think this is all going to lead in to some life-changing habits. And if we think, well, we don't see these great things happening like it did with the disciples, and I'm hoping that we can figure out why. I need my phone. In talking about, I always say there's some things as Christians we always say, and I think sometimes we say it so much it doesn't mean as much, or it loses its power when we say things. Hey, Pastor, I know you're hurting, I'll pray for you. Which, yes, that's good, but does it have the meaning? Well, as I was trying to think of something, I was thinking about just the awesomeness of God. We have this reverence and fear of God. Well, one of the words we always say is awesome. And I have no clue what the word awesome means. I have said it so much, I've said it with, man, that Larry Bird had an awesome shot. Michael Jordan, that guy was an awesome player. Were they? They were good, but were they awesome? So I just looked up the Google. Awesome, extremely impressive, or daunting. Daunting to me, and I didn't look that up, if you have a job, sometimes my job to me is daunting when we have so much water coming out of a hole. We're looking at it going, I have no idea. I have no idea how we're going to get this water out of here. I don't know how we're going to get it fixed. A daunting project every year is Kolache. There's a lot that goes on, and it could be, there's a lot that goes on, and it's a big chore, okay? And I try to tell Starling, it's going to happen no matter if we get everything done or not, but he don't believe me. So, anyway, inspiring, great admiration, apprehension, or fear. The example they used was the awesome power of the atomic bomb. So, as I'm thinking of this word awesome this morning, I'm thinking, how do I describe God? In June, I'm going to be walking this earth, crawling, walking, being carried, for 51 years. Do you realize there's never been a morning that I woke up that the sun didn't come up? There wasn't an evening when I went to bed that the sun didn't go down. But there was a time when there wasn't a sun. And I'm trying to think of all these neat things that I could tell you. Did you know, this is totally off the subject again. Well, the earth spins, but we don't fly off of it. All right, there's this neat thing called gravity. Did you know if you took a ball on a string, and held them fairly close to each other, they wouldn't hang straight down? Everything has a gravitational pull. Did y'all know that? Oh, okay. I thought I was going to educate somebody. What's the number? There's a number you multiply times mass, weight to get this pull. 6.2, am I right? Something times 10 to the 100, a million. Can you remember? I graduated in 1987. I've not used this since then. There's a number, and it's like 6.2. Do you know it, Miss Vic? Like, I defer to Shane. It's like 6.23 times 10 to the negative. Okay, wait, what is it? And let's say it's 100. So it'd be like, instead of 6.23, it's 0.0000000000000 to however many that negative 10, right? So anyway, useless information until you're teaching Sunday school 30 years from now. But do you realize that number came from somewhere? And we can say man did it, and I'm sure man come up with the number, but who made it? The joke, the smartest doctors in the world figured out how to make man. They had all the particles, all the dirt, the dust. Then God comes down and said, guys, that's great. Now get your own dirt. Okay? How do you describe God? And then I was talking, Sean Barry's not here. I was talking to Sean Barry over the last couple of weeks. There's a gentleman north of town. We'd go fish his pond every once in a while. We ran to the corner, and there was always this horse. It was a racehorse, quarter horse. I don't know horses, but it was a racehorse. And it would race our truck from that corner like a dog down the fence line all the way to this guy's house. You look at this horse, just the muscles, just every time it stepped, and I would think, man, that's one of the most, and I'm not a horse guy. I'm not going to say I don't like them because I've never met them. But I think, man, is that not the most beautiful animal? I see bull riding, and I'm not a bull rider. But have you ever looked at those bulls? My goodness gracious, are they not beautiful animals? Just how they step, the muscles. Someone created that. I think of Catherine. I was going to say Sweet Baby Kate or something like that, but we know how babies are made. God, though, created that. And hopefully she grows up to look like her mama, not so much like her daddy. I don't know so much right now. But to breathe life. And then I got thinking more, the lungs, they're not here. They always post, or not always, but if it's a pretty sunrise or sunset, they post a picture. Awesome. Pictures never do it justice. And I think if every individual in here gave their definition of God or what they think God is, it's going to fall so short of the glory of God. And even when our numbers double here for big church, it'll come up short. So how do you describe God? If we could describe him, then do you think he'd be as awesome as he really is? So, anyway, so I couldn't come up with a song that I thought fit for what I wanted to speak on God. And then, because, I think you ought to praise God every time you come into the house of God. And I like just having that few minutes. Whereas if you can never get here early and listen to the worship, that's incredible too. But then I get a text from my wife that, hey, we got some songs that are going to line up kind of to where I was wanting to go. And I'm thinking, okay, we'll just wait till then. Because, I wanted to get it just right. And I think I listened to 10 songs this morning. And it just wasn't right. So, last week, we talked about the judgment. I'm going to just zoom through this. We'll answer for his words in Matthew 12:36. Your thoughts, Hebrews 4:12 and 13. Deeds and actions, 2 Corinthians 5:10. So, yes, we gave our life to God, but still, we're appointed a time to die. And when we die, we're going to get judged for what we thought, how we acted, and how we spoke. So there ought to be this holy fear on us that, man, I don't want to mess up. And I think of my earthly dad. Now, my mom and my other dad were a little bit different. But there was something about my father, my dad, that I don't know if he's ever heard me say a bad word. He might have, but I don't know that he has. Back in the earring days, he never saw me with an earring in my ear. There was just something about my father. He knew I had one. He knew I was in trouble. But there was something about my father where I didn't want him to look at me different than his number one son. Okay? Are we with me? We're going to spend some time in Proverbs this morning. Proverbs 1:7. And when I read this, I kind of chuckled. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And I was thinking, we're teaching about judgment that comes at the end, but this fear of the Lord is the beginning. Anyway, I thought that was just kind of God's sense of humor because he throws stuff at you like this. But then, as I'm reading down through here, no, I'm not texting. Uh-oh. Okay. What is knowledge? Have y'all ever used that word before? He's very knowledgeable. Jim Griff is knowledgeable. Okay? We say it, but do you know what it means? That's what I would say. Facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education. The theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. Then the second deal, awareness or familiarity gained by experience of a fact or situation. All right? You gain knowledge through your experiences. Okay? Now, as I'm reading this, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Our fear that drove us to accept Jesus, because we knew we were missing something, that is the beginning of, and we've been teaching on this journey we're going on. Okay? The more we're in the Word, which we ought to be in reverence, listening to God's spoken word, applying this stuff to our lives. So if we live till tomorrow, we've gained another day of this experience of this great master that we serve. And I promise you, when we get done with this, I'm hoping lives will change. Okay? Not with I got another thing coming up here soon. In Proverbs 9 and 10, does that make sense to everybody? I don't often listen to myself, but every once in a while I do. And I do know that I jump in the middle of a sentence. I'll go to something completely different, and I may not tie it in like I'm supposed to. Just wave at me and holler at me, and I'll stop, and I'll explain just where exactly the ears of a cow are situated. That's an inside joke between me and Pastor. Proverbs 9 and 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. So once again, we know the fear of the Lord is knowledge, but now it's saying the fear of the Lord is wisdom. Well, aren't they the same thing? Evidently not, because Alan said so. Sorry, my phone's okay. Wisdom is the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment, or the quality of being wise. Well, I was always taught that you can't use your same word in your own definition. Wise, wisdom, so I don't know if my English teacher back in the day, or the soundness of an action or decision with regard to the application of experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The sentence they give is, some question the wisdom of building the dam so close to an active volcano. Well, here recently, if it's an active volcano, I would wonder the wisdom involved in touring said active volcano. Okay, are you following me? So wisdom comes from having that knowledge, that experience. All right? Now, I'm going to get on testimonies just for a second. Why is it important that we give our testimonies? We have a young couple just starting out. Fear of the Lord. They haven't walked on this earth as much as me and my wife. If we can give our testimony, and those that have ears, let them hear, maybe we can impart some wisdom or knowledge to them that comes from our wisdom, from our walk of gaining this stuff. Pastor can tell you, young guys, don't ride those bulls. Don't jump out of a moving car. I've done it. I've been there. Do what? Do not car surf. Magnificent Seven. Guy jumps into a bunch of cactus. They asked the guy, why'd you do it? He said, seemed like a good idea at the time. Listen to the wisdom of others. Okay? I don't want to get too... I really want this to be reverent, because the more we listen to His Word, the more we practice His Word. All right? Now, I've got 2 Peter 1, 2 through 4, but I think we're going to skip that. Proverbs 10 and 27. The fear of the Lord adds length to life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. We think that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Until we think of the disciples. who the majority of them were martyred at a young age. Okay? Solomon gave us a set of guidelines to go by in a perfect world. We live in a very imperfect world. Following me? Where is our length of life going to come from? The day our judgment comes, we've got eternity that we get to spend with the Creator of all things. Okay, following still? We live by faith, not by sight. As these disciples were getting beat, thrown in prison, what were they looking at? You think they were looking at what was happening? They gladly let whatever happened to them happen. Matter of fact, Peter even said, "No, I don't want to be crucified the easy way. Turn me upside down. I'm not worthy." Actually asked for it to be a little bit worse. This holy reverence that we're supposed to have. Proverbs 19:23. I actually jumped ahead on my commentary. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. There's going to come a time when we can rest, untouched by trouble. I mean, yes, we have peace now, and we're going to get into that at another time. We have joy now. We're given the tools we need to do the job we're supposed to do. Understand, if we don't fear the Lord, then what happens? Death. Eternity away from God. Proverbs 14:26. And understand, the fear, and once again, the fear we're supposed to have is not, the fear of enclosed places. I mean, this is just a reverence that we need to have to our Father. And with this is the beginning of our walk, our journey. Okay? 14 and 26. I'm going to read 26 and 27. Whoever fears the Lord has a secure fortress, and for their children it will be a refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snares of death. This is confidence. Our confidence in what? We have a strong fortress. I think we're running a race. When this race is over, we have the confidence, if we fear the Lord, that He'll say, "Well done, my son, my daughter." I always like to say my son because I think that's just so cool. And I was thinking about this race that if we participate, we get this trophy. But it's not like the participation trophies that we get now. This is going to be a trophy. We're going to earn it. And making sure I don't jump ahead. Wait. Yeah, I got a neat little cute thing. I was going to throw a little funny in there. We're going to learn our power-ups as we do this race. I don't know if y'all play. Some of you probably ain't never played a video game. But in this games, on any game, when it gets hard, they give you little power-ups. And it's hard to say that the life we live is a game, but God gives us our power-ups. And Starlin, one of these days, will teach on the armor of God again. And it's one of the best teachings that I think we've had, other than his tithe. I thought his tithes was the very best. So bear with me as we get through this, and we're going to learn things that's going to help us. And then hopefully we'll realize our authority that we have as we walk. But it starts with this fear of God, this holy reverence to the Creator of all things. Proverbs 22:4. And I'm about done. Is it 22:4? Through knowledge, its rooms are filled. That's 24. Don't go to that one. Humility is the fear of the Lord. Its wages are riches and honor and life. We say, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. When Jesus says, take this goblet from me. Goblet, was that the right word? Not my will, your will. When we get that in us, this humility, this reverence. In Acts, I'm going to finish right here, 2:42 and 45. They sold all they had. They gave to the church. Many wonder and signs. Why do we not see these wonders and signs? And I think, have we given all that we have? Have we sold out? And I've taught on that before. And I'm going to do this last one and then we'll be done. Psalms 25:14. It talks about friendship with the Lord. And like a good friend, He will tell you His secrets. You can tell Him yours. Well, what are His secrets? Well, He's going to tell us what we need to know. We have this thing called the Holy Spirit that will guide us, that will be our light, that we'll get our peace from, that we'll get our joy from. And I'm hoping to just spend one more week on the fear of God. I got 3 stories I want to tell you about for next week. I encourage you, open your Bibles, read, study. The more we fear the Lord, the more we get to know Him, the more secrets He's going to tell us. And the signs and wonders that we've been looking for will be here. If we're not His friend, why would He tell us? I just wouldn't tell certain people. I was going to point somebody out, but then I would want people to think that Brian's not my friend. But there are things that I wouldn't tell some people that I would others. I don't know them. And some things just aren't your business. But people that know me, I'm pretty much an open book. And that's where we need to be. But it starts with the fear of God. So bear with me one more week and then we'll get on to good things.